Mr. Prime Minister, there was an op-ed article written in the New York Times back in July by an Israeli journalist named Aluf Ben, who writes for the Haaretz newspaper. And among other things, he said that President Obama is ignoring Israel, has not visited Israel, even though he's been to several Arab countries, and he's not reaching out to the Israeli people the way he's reaching out to the Arab and Muslim world. He hasn't given any interviews, as far as I know, to the Israeli press, for example, or Israeli television. Do you agree with that assessment?
I think people should not rush to judgment. I think these are two new administrations, my own new government and the new government in Washington. We've found a way to communicate. I think we've resolved a lot of the issues between us. We can have differences. That happens among the best of friends. It even happens in our own families. But I think there's a growing closeness that I found. What people don't know, and I'm not referring to the public diplomacy, but I want to tell you something about private diplomacy. There's virtually not a day that goes by that the Obama administration and my own government don't communicate on a very senior level on very important matters in a very confidential and respectful way. And I say that advisedly. I'm choosing my words carefully. There's barely a day that goes by without that happening. So that should give you some indication of the growing of the closeness of that relationship. And it's getting better for sure. There's no question about it.
Because there was a very explosive charge in that same article on the op-ed page of the New York Times. And I'll read it to you because I want to give you a chance to respond. It caused a huge commotion. This is what Aluf Ben wrote in the New York Times. In Mr. Netanyahu's narrative, the president has fallen under the influence of top aides, in this case Rahm Emanuel, the White House chief of staff, and David Axelrod, the White House advisor, whom the prime minister has called, quote, self-hating Jews. Is that true?
Oh, no, it's not. I never called them any such thing, and I don't think that. I've known Rahm Emanuel for some time. I just met David Axelrod today, in fact, and I think they're American patriots. They think of what is important for the United States, and they certainly bear no enmity to Israel. They probably want the best for Israel, too. So I think that this is, and we can have, as we say, occasional differences of opinion, but I never call them those things, and I don't think that, and I'm sorry that anyone has given credence to this kind of nonsense. It's just
Did you reach out to Rahm Emanuel and David Axelrod and reassure them that was a lie?
Well, we immediately denied it, and yes, we did reach out to them, of course.
Did you personally call them?
I didn't personally call them, but I had my aides communicate this to the White House as quickly as we could.